DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. At Merck Animal Health, we're shaping the future of animal health with pioneering science, connected technology, and insights-driven solutions to bring our customers an unparalleled portfolio of choices to improve cattle care and operational efficiency. We support you and your legacy by helping you meet the challenges of today with the innovations of tomorrow.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. We've got my friend and colleague, someone that's a regular on the show back today, Dr. KC Olson. We're going to talk about burning pastures, preparing pastures, all things getting forage ready for cattle. Stay tuned, it's going to be a great show.
I've been a veterinarian since 1987. My wife and I set up a practice in Monette, Missouri in 1989. We started using therapies shortly after it came out. I was overwhelmed with the positive response that we were getting from producers. They could noticeably see a difference. I have to admit that I was pretty skeptical at first. I am currently 110% sold on the product. There is no doubt in my mind that this is an added product that we can use on these cattle that is going to make a significant difference.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson and I'm here with Dr. KC Olson. He is a longtime friend and colleague, probably one of the most knowledgeable range nutritionists that I've ever met, and appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
He serves as the Lewis Chair in Ruminant Nutrition and Range Nutrition here at Kansas State University. Teaches a ton of students. If you come to K-State and you go into animal science, you're going to have one of the best times in his class and in beef science and so much more. But serves as a sounding board for stakeholders that all the different types of cow-calf operations, stocker operations, anything in the beef industry. So let's talk, we're going to talk about burning today. And I think it's something that people say, well, I should burn or shouldn't I burn, or, you know, why do we burn?
Well, some native grasslands of the world are fire adapted. That means the plants that are there naturally and the fauna that's there naturally adapted under a frequent fire regime. And that fire regime could be anywhere from, you know, a 15-year fire return interval in some of the western Great Plains to an every 2-year fire interval in the historic tallgrass prairie region.
That means that fire is friendly and fire helps them, right?
It does mean fire is friendly, folks. When we exclude fire from this ecosystem, we're in the tallgrass prairie region of the U.S. In about 25 years, we'll have a scrub forest with little or no economic value. And the frequent use of fire on the landscape keeps those woody plants at bay, and along the way can help us improve range conditions, diet quality for our livestock.
I remember you taking me out to the Konza Prairie and showing me, standing in one quarter, here's where we've not done anything, here's where we've only burned, and here's where we've burned and grazed. And the combination of the two is phenomenal for the diversity of the ecosystem and the range.
No, that's true. And I kind of misspoke earlier when I said that the native grasslands of the Great Plains are fire adapted. They're also large herbivore adapted.
Yeah.
If you take one of those two elements out of the equation, conditions can deteriorate pretty rapidly.
Yep. So talk a little bit about the equipment. What I mean, just a match and
Well, a match helps.
Get the wind.
A match helps. You know, I gotta tell your audience that before 1993, I had never done prescribed burning. Where I grew up, we were scared of fire, and every time flames popped up, we did our best to put them out quickly. So the Flint Hills for me were kind of a surprise. The equipment that you need is actually, you know, pretty modest. In an ideal circumstance, you'll have a large vehicle that's capable of delivering a number of gallons per minute, you know, maybe up to 50 as a fire suppression device, and several small water dispensers that maybe just squirt or spray a fine mist. When you lay down fire on the ground, you're going to start on the downwind side so that the smoke is blowing into your face. You lay down a line of water, and then just inside, just on the upwind side of that line, that's where you put down your fire. So the fire, as it travels with the wind, is going to meet that wet line, as it's called, and will be suppressed. And then the smaller vehicles come along behind and squirt down any flames that might pop up. That's really the nuts and bolts of how prescribed burning is carried out. And the people that routinely practice it have made the investment in that safety equipment.
Yeah. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get more into the burning and some of the outcomes. You're watching DocTalk. We have Dr. KC Olson here. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Dr. Kirk Ramsey with Neogen. Today on Cattle Intel, our focus is going to be foot health. So foot health is critical for all cattle operations. You should constantly be watching for lameness and address any problems as early as you can. So when evaluating feet, start with conformation. Pay attention to uneven or excessive length, twisting, or even curling of one or both claws. It's important to look at the space between the toes. Any redness or swelling can be a sign of foot rot or interdigital dermatitis. If claws are too long or uneven, get them trimmed as soon as possible to correct any problems before it's too late. This is important for the whole herd, but it should be addressed quickly, especially in bulls prior to the breeding season. Dairy cattle, or cattle that spend a lot of their time on hard surfaces, are at a greater risk of early breakdown and should be evaluated and trimmed 2 to 3 times a year. Also, cattle that spend more time on irrigated pasture or excessively wet environments are at a greater risk of foot rot and interdigital dermatitis. Visit with your veterinarian to develop treatment plans and protocols for addressing lameness and feet health in your operation.
Thanks for watching Cattle Intel by Neogen.
Are you a cattle feeder looking to manage for a stronger and more profitable set of cattle? Look no further than Igenity Feeder. Igenity Feeder utilizes DNA to gain insight into your cattle's genomic potential, with the information to predict performance, quality, and economic endpoints for cattle feeders. Animals are scored and ranked in a simple format, driving more precise and accurate management decisions. Igenity Feeder gives you the power to predict days on feed, manage variability within lots, characterize carcass performance, and focus on metrics important to you and your operation. With the data provided, you will identify superior animals earlier and maintain high operational efficiency. Maximize your profit and optimize performance with Igenity Feeder.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson, Dr. KC Olson. Dr. Olson is the Lewis Chair of Range Cattle Nutrition here at Kansas State University in the Department of Animal Science and Industry. He is, very busy person, and we're very thankful you spend time with us.
Appreciate you having me.
Yep. So let's talk a little bit about the woody plant control.
Okay. By far, prescribed fire is the least expensive way to control woody plant encroachment. You know, the bad actor here in the Flint Hills is usually the eastern red cedar, sometimes honey locust and rough-leaf dogwood come into that equation. But I mean, you just have to approach a metropolitan area between US 135 in central Kansas and maybe the eastern border, and you will see the cedar tree encroachment around those municipalities where fire has been excluded for 25 to 100 years.
But this is a way, if you stay on top of it, a great way to control those.
Until those cedar trees get to be about 4 feet, fire is the best and maybe most comprehensive means of control. Trees get beyond that point, the canopy closes up. There's very little fuel left underneath them. And you're looking at a very expensive, probably $300 an hour plus mechanical control to try and remove those trees.
Yeah, I've done it. Well, I haven't done it, but I paid for it.
and fire, the way that ranchers do it, probably costs around 75 cents an acre.
Yeah.
So very cost effective.
Yeah. So we control the brush, we control this, we get a better growth and better quality forage. Does that equate to improved performance?
Oh, it does. Historically, this is some work that was done at Kansas State University starting in about 1960 and proceeding through the early 1990s, when non-burn grass is compared with burn grass, the average daily gain advantage for a yearling is about 0.3 of a pound per day from May 1 to August 1. So very, very substantial. I think that relates to the fact that these inexperienced yearling cattle don't have much wisdom in terms of diet selection. And the application of fire means that calf that doesn't know much about grazing in this ecosystem can't ever take a bad bite of food. I mean, it's all been rebooted through fire, and everything is of high quality in the early part of the grazing season.
Yeah, they don't eat that toxic weed or
Right.
learn the wrong.
Like for cows, it doesn't seem to matter in terms of performance, even though aggregate diet quality is better. Cows are more selective about how they eat, and it doesn't seem to affect their performance.
I found it very interesting. I remember one of your trials where you were taking pictures of getting the biomass, and that there was more biomass on the sides of the hills than there were in the tops and the bottoms.
Yeah, weird people like me enjoy that stuff. We wonder about the factors that control grazing distribution, and slope is one of those things.
Yeah. Cattle don't like to stand like this, just like we don't.
Yeah, I'd rather have my feet on level ground.
But it blew me away that you can determine that, and that's going to be the last thing eaten in your pasture is the stuff on the slope.
Yeah, it is, and if you look at the species that animals select that are dependent on age, dependent on animal class, there are some really stark and, for me, fascinating differences. An old cow that spent 10 years on the range in the Flint Hills eats much more selectively and different species than an inexperienced animal will. And that phenomenon keeps her diet quality higher than we can measure based on the average quality of all forage.
Yeah, it's a tremendous line of work, and interesting, and just not only the grazing but the behavior that you did these things.
Indeed.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more with Dr. Olson on prescribed burning. You're watching DocTalk, and we're glad you joined us.
Plant the seeds of financial security today with United Patriot Coins Precious Metal Starter Pack, the Patriot Pack. Exclusive offer for our DocTalk family. Call now and secure your financial future. Strengthen your roots with silver and gold. Call United Patriot Coin today and ask for the DocTalk special offer.
When it comes to treating BRD, you want a product that you can count on to get the job done at an affordable price. Macrocin by Bimeda delivers on both. A straight shooting, no BS tulathromycin that does what it's supposed to do. End of story. You don't need to take our word for it though. Go to macrocin.com for customer testimonials and head-to-head trial results. For your cattle and your bottom line, choose Macrocin.
In the livestock industry, castration is a common practice to ensure proper herd management. All methods are painful, regardless of the age of the animal. At Solvit, we could not ignore the clear industry need for better castration solutions. So we developed Lidoband, a novel lidocaine-impregnated elastrator, addressing the pain associated with band castration. It provides local anesthesia throughout the castration process. Lidoband, a small device that can make a big difference.
Ranchers, looking to elevate your pasture management game? Turn to Heinen Brothers for expert aerial application. With state-of-the-art equipment and seasoned pilots, we deliver precision treatments right to your fields. From fertilizers to herbicides, Heinen Brothers has your pasture covered. Visit HeinenBrosAg.com to learn more.
When the ones who have your heart need your help, count on us for everything they deserve, delivered fast. We'll work hard for you so you can work hard for your dreams.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson, Dr. KC Olson. He's the Lewis Chair of Range Cattle Nutrition here at Kansas State University, serving stakeholders all across the state, teaching students, and so much more. We're doing a lot of research on these different things that we're talking about. And one of them was recently you put together 20 years worth of data?
The aggregate was close to 20 years. Yes, some of those trials were concurrent, but I've been very interested in non-conventional uses of prescribed fire to combat invasive range plants that don't respond to the traditional fire season, and also, some of the side benefits of applying fire at a different time of the year.
You found some things that are kind of unique that aren't specific. We'll get into the control of the noxious weeds and things like that later, but you found some things that maybe are more neighbor friendly or urban friendly from this, right?
Yeah, I think that's a correct interpretation. So as some of your viewers will know, when we make a lot of smoke in the spring, that smoke travels from Flint Hills prescribed fires, and when it hits a temperature inversion, warm daytime, cool nighttime, that smoke is going to sink. And when that sinking smoke happens to be co-located with an urban area, we create some air quality problems for other folks, and we would really like to be better neighbors in that regard.
Yeah, and with this non-conventional, doing it in the late summer and early fall, better.
We have a different outcome now with right around 10 years of this kind of history in the Flint Hills. We have yet to have a documented air quality exceedance as a result of Flint Hill smoke, and we're talking about documented about 100,000 acres burning in that unconventional fall season. I believe it's not been a significant air quality problem because the days are warm and the nights are also warm late in the summer and early in the fall. The smoke as it travels does not hit those temperature inversions and sink, possibly landing in some urban area.
Yeah, and then the ecosystem, you found that if it's good for the animals we're concerned about, it's good for others?
That appears to be the case. In addition to some likely health benefits for people and air quality, there is a really interesting and compelling shift in some of the smaller components of the plant community. With that shift in prescribed fire to the late summer or the very early fall, we'll see a proliferation of native legumes, wildflowers that bear nectar. In aggregate, this community does not make up much of the plant community, but it's very visible. And we're talking less than 5% of basal cover, but some really pretty eye-friendly kind of plants that happen to be habitat critical for insects. Those organisms eat nectar, and there are a number of native birds that feed on those insects. And without that full component of the prairie, our ecological balancing act gets a little tippy by this sort of new approach to fire. We can restore the plant community to a more balanced blend of plants and make better habitat for the insects and the birds that complete the Flint Hills community.
It's awesome. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with Dr. Olson. You're watching Doc Talk, and we're glad you joined us.
Hey, I'm Clark Victory. I grew up right here on this little ranch near Chelsea, Oklahoma. Roped and ranched all my life. A few years ago, I had an injury that created what they call a frozen shoulder. And after speaking with the surgeon in Tulsa, he told me that he could make my shoulder better if he did surgery, but he absolutely couldn't fix it. And I called Kansas Regenerative Medical Center. I did the stem cell replacement. By 12:30, my wife and I had lunch and was driving back to Chelsea. We work around here. Some days we work pretty hard around here, and my right shoulder doesn't get sore. It's like a baby's arm.
When you spot BRD in your cattle, that's your golden opportunity to target infection and its associated fever with a single dose of Resflor Gold, the industry standard dual therapy. To learn more, talk to your Merck Animal Health rep or your vet and see label at resflorgold.com. Animals intended for human consumption must not be slaughtered within 38 days of treatment. This product is not approved for use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, including dry dairy cows.
Hey folks, for your firearm and ammo needs, for gun safes and much, much more, and to have it personalized, come visit us at United Patriot Supply outside of Seneca, Kansas. You can also visit us online at unitedpatriotsupply.com. Be sure to say that Dr. Dan and DocTalk sent you, and we'll see you down the road.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idex.com/DocTalk.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan here. Welcome to DocTalk Season of Giving with our partners, Merck Animal Health. This week, we're going to be giving away a $50 spending spree from Valley Vet. How do you register to win this? You're going to go on our website, www.doctalktv.com. Just click Season of Giving, register for our newsletter, and you'll automatically be entered to win this prize. And if you win it, guess what? We'll even throw in a DocTalk cap with it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road. Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson with Dr. KC Olson. Dr. Olson is a friend and colleague for many, many years. Very thankful for all that he does for the beef industry, for Kansas, for our students, and beyond. He's truly in it for the right reasons, and you got to be around him for about 1 minute to figure that out. We're talking about prescribed burning, fall burning, so late summer, early fall, and you're finding that it helps with control of some of these bad actors or these noxious weeds or things that we're trying to get rid of better than doing it in the spring.
Yes. So there are two, I'll call them general groups of plants, families of plants, that don't respond as we would like to a conventional spring fire. Sericea lespedeza is a perennial forb that was introduced to this region over 100 years ago. The other plants are a functional group called the Old World blue stems, and you'll know them as Caucasian blue stem and yellow blue stem. They are not, Sericea lespedeza has some mildly toxic properties. The Old World blue stems do not, but they have a very short maturation cycle. And while they are good feed for grazers early in the season, they are pathetic feed quality for grazers after they reproductively mature.
Yeah, and so, just jumping into it, why does burning it in the fall differ from burning it in the spring?
Well, I mean, that's a good question, and I can speculate. But both of those plants appear to be, well, they are reproductively mature late in the season, relatively late in the growing season. And our initial approach with trying fire at a different time was to see if we could target fire timing that would be coincident with the stage of growth at which these plants would be vulnerable to fire damage. It was really no more complicated than that. It was driven by frustration with losing carrying capacity to the Old World blue stems, and especially Sericea lespedeza. The economic value of our grazing lands was trending downward, and we needed an inexpensive, comprehensive, effective way of doing what's called naturalizing the plant. In other words, taking away that plant's competitive advantages in a particular environment like ours.
So, in other words, when they're about to produce or lay down seeds, you're going to take them out.
Yeah, we would like to apply fire, as those plants produce their inflorescence and as the seed pods begin to fill, but that the seed pods haven't fully matured or shattered.
So one of the questions I've gotten is, what about carrying the winter? Burning early summer and versus spring?
That's a legitimate question, and for the stocker audience, cattle are only there on the range seasonally. Doesn't matter. We're just burning after the cattle leave rather than before they show up. If you're a cow-calf person like me, you rely on winter range for cow feed. And with those folks, we're telling them to look at a 2 or 3 year fire return interval
Yep.
on those grazing lands, so that you're reserving part of your forage base for winter grazing, and applying fire on a regular interval to what you don't need for winter grazing. In our research, we looked at annual burning. The industry always takes what the university develops and improves it. They're looking at more of an every other year or an every third year approach to fire for control of Sericea, Lespedeza, and the old world blue stems. They're having outstanding results with that less frequent use of prescribed fire.
Perfect. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks as always for being so knowledgeable and so giving of your time. Thanks for watching DocTalk. Remember, if you want to find us on the web, go to www.doctalktv.com. Always work with your local veterinarian. With Dr. KC Olson, I'm Dr. Dan Thomson, and we'll see you down the road.
At Merck Animal Health, we support you and your legacy by helping you meet the challenges of today with the innovations of tomorrow.